Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be going over probability. And when it comes to probability, probability is the likelihood that an event will happen. So the larger the number means that there is a greater likelihood that the event will happen. And these numbers are from 0 to 1. And if you're using percentages, that's 0% to 100%. And remember, when you are dealing with probability, you can write your answer as a fraction, you can write your answer as a decimal, or you can even write your answer as a percentage. So let's look at this number line for an example. So let's say the bottom here, I'll label this as 0%. The top, I will label this as 100%. The middle is going to be 50%. Right here is going to be 25%, and then up here is going to be 75%. And remember, you can express your probability as a percentage, as a fraction, or even a decimal. When you're looking at the percentages here, the higher the number, the greater likelihood that the event will happen. So if I am down here and I say my probability is 0%, that means it's impossible that that event is going to happen. If I say that the probability is at 25%, the likelihood of that event happening, not very likely. If I say the probability of an event happening is at 50%, that means there's an equal chance that the event will happen or it may not happen. If I say the probability is at 75%, that means that an event that will happen is somewhat likely to happen. If I say that the probability is at 100%, that means that event is certainly going to happen. It's definitely going to happen because it's at 100% probability. So for an example, let's say I say there's a 50% chance that it is going to rain tomorrow. That means there's an equal chance that it may rain or that it may not rain. If I say there's a 100% chance that the sun is going to shine today, that means the sun is going to shine today, because based on that probability, the sun shining today is certainly going to happen. If I say there is a 16% chance that glitter is going to fall from the sky, and my 16% is going to fall right here between my 0% and my 25%. Based on that probability here, the likelihood of that happening is not very likely to happen because I am right here in between my 25% and my 0%. That's almost nearly impossible for it to happen. So the fun thing about probabilities is when you are trying to figure out the probability of an event, then you use the formula to figure out how likely an event will happen. P event equals the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of possible outcomes. So when it comes to your P, this is your probability. Your event is any outcome or groups of outcomes. The top number here, the number of favorable outcomes for whatever event you are looking for or whatever outcome that you are seeking. And then the bottom number here is going to be the total number of all possible outcomes. So a popular example that we all see is when we are trying to find a probability of a coin. What is the probability of a coin landing on tails? P is going to be your probability of tails. I'm going to put tails here on the inside because this is the outcome I am looking for. I am talking about a coin. What is the number of favorable outcomes that I can get because I'm looking for the probability of tails, and that's just going to be 1. The total number of possible outcomes that I can get is going to be the number 2. There is a 50% chance that if I flip my coin, that my coin is going to land on tails. So let's look at this example here. So let's say we have a spinner and we wanted to know what is the probability that the spinner will land on red. So I'm going to do P, probability of red, because this is the outcome that we are looking for. So if I'm looking for the probability of red, what is the number of favorable outcomes that I can get? And that's just going to be 1 because I only have just one red right here. What is the total number of possible outcomes for my entire event? So the possible outcomes is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So your denominator is going to be 5. So 1 over 5, this is going to be 20%. So there is a 20% chance that the spinner will land on red. So let's look at the same example. So let's say, what is the probability that the spinner will land on red or purple? So I'm going to do P, probability of red or purple, because that is the outcome I am looking for. By looking at my spinner here, what is the number of favorable outcomes that I can get? So I have red right here, this is 1, and I have purple right here, this is 2. So I'm going to put 2 in my numerator. The total number of all possible outcomes is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So your denominator is going to be 5. And 2 divided by 5 as a percentage is going to be 40%. So there's a 40% chance that the spinner is going to land on red or purple. So let's say I wanted to find what is the probability of not landing on green. What is the probability of not landing on green? So I'm going to do P, not green, because this is the outcome that we are looking for. So my numerator, I'm going to look for all the options that is not green. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the number of favorable outcomes is going to be 4. The total number of possible outcomes is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 4 over 5 as a percentage is going to be 80%. So there's an 80% chance that when I spin my spinner, that it will not land on green. And the terminology for this, when it comes to looking for the opposite of an event happening, is called a complement. So always keep in mind, though, that the probability of an event and the complement of an event has to equal 1. So let's say if I say there is a 30% chance that it is going to rain today, and I ask what is the chance of it not raining today, then that's going to be 70%, because 30% plus 70% is going to equal 100%. So remember, the probability of an event plus the complement of an event has to equal 1 or 100%. So if I say the complement of win is going to be lose. The complement of rain, we said, was no rain. The complement of heads, we said, was tails. The complement of sun is going to be no sun. So let's look at this example here. So let's say I just wrote this, P6. This means that I need to find the probability of 6. My outcome, my results, the event I'm looking for is going to be 6. What is the number of favorable outcomes that I can get based on this spinner here? So we have just 1. There's only one possible favorable outcome that I can get, which is just 1. The total number of possible outcomes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you're turning this into a percentage, you're going to get about 16.7%. So there's a 16.7% chance that if I spin this spinner, that my spinner will land on 6. So what if I wrote P odd? That means my event, the outcome I'm looking for, has to be an odd number. So what is the number of favorable outcomes that I am looking for? So we're looking for odd numbers. We have 1, 2, and 3. So the number of favorable outcomes is going to be 3. The number of possible outcomes, the total number of possible outcomes, is going to be 6. Or you may write it as 1 over 2, which is 50%. So there's a 50% chance when I spin my spinner that I am going to land on an odd number. What if I said P5 or even? This is the outcome I'm looking for. I'm looking for the probability of the number 5 or an even number. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm looking for the number 5 or an even number. So the number of favorable outcomes that I can get is 4. The total number of possible outcomes is going to be 6. And if I simplify this, you're going to get 2 over 3. And if you write it as a percentage, this is going to be about 66.7%. So there's a 66.7% chance that when I spin my spinner, that it's going to land on the number 5 or an even number. So let's say if I did P a number less than 7. So the outcome I am looking for, my event, is I am looking for a number less than 7. By looking at my chart here, what is the number of favorable outcomes? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because all of these numbers here are less than 7. So I'm going to write 6 right here in my numerator. What is the total number of possible outcomes? And that's also going to be 6, which equals 1. And if I write it as a percentage, this is going to be 100%. There is 100% of a chance that if I spin my spinner, that I'm going to land on a number that is less than 7. The chances of that happening is certainly going to happen. So let's look at this example here. So let's say I have a box of marbles and I have all of these marbles inside with different colors. So what if I needed to find the probability if I go inside my box and I pick a marble that it's going to be a green marble? So my P, my probability is green because this is the outcome that we are looking for. This is my event. So P green equals what is the number of favorable outcomes that I can get based on this example here. So I have a green marble here, 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 and here. So I have 5 green marbles. The total number of possible outcomes is going to be 20. If I simplify my answer, this is going to equal 1 over 4. And if you write this as a percentage, this is going to be 25%. There is a 25% chance that if I dig into my box of marbles that I am going to pull out a green marble. What is the probability of picking up a blue or red marble? So my outcome, my event is blue or red because that's the outcome we are looking for. And the number of favorable outcomes, let's see, we're looking for blue or red. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 favorable outcomes that I can get. What is the total number of possible outcomes? Out of all the marbles in here, we have a total of 20 marbles. So 7 over 20 as a percentage is going to be about 35%. So there's a 35% chance that if I go into my box of marbles that I pull out a blue or a red marble. What if I said, what is the probability of pulling out a white marble? And that answer is going to be 0%. Because I do not have any white marbles inside my box, the probability of me pulling out a white marble is impossible at 0%. So let's look at this example here. So let's say I have Great Wall of China and I put all these letters inside of a bag and I shake the bag up. What is the probability of choosing the letter A? So I'm going to write PA because A is the outcome, the event I am looking for. We have 1, 2, 3. 3 is going to be the number of favorable outcomes, and that's going to be in my numerator. What is the total number of all possible outcomes? So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the total number of possible outcomes is going to be 16. And if I turn this into a percentage, you're looking at about 18.75% chance. So there's an 18.75% chance that I will be choosing the letter A. So what is the probability of choosing a vowel? So I'm going to put P vowel. So what is the total number of favorable outcomes? So A, E, I, O, U. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the number of favorable outcomes is 6. What is the total number of possible outcomes? We already said that's 16. So if I turn this into a percent, we're looking at about 37.5%. So there's a 37.5% chance that I will pick out a vowel. What if I gave you this example and I said, find the probability of the letter Z? The outcome, the event that we are looking for is Z, and that's going to be 0% because I do not have the letter Z here. So the chances of me pulling out the letter Z is 0%, which is impossible. All right, so that is all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.